everybody's had a great Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, celebrating with your families. For some of us, Christmas seems like a long time coming and ends pretty quick. Well, the Catholic Church doesn't let that happen. Like Garfield hugging the Christmas tree to keep John from throwing it out, Catholics hold on to Christmas celebration until the feast of the baptism of the Lord, which this year is on January 9th. Our main focus is on the time from Christmas to the Epiphany, which includes today's Feast of the Holy Family. This coming Saturday's Solemnity of Mary, and then on Sunday, the Solemnity of the Epiphany. Still, with all that, I think many parents are breathing a bit easier after looking back, because you certainly had a lot of things to do these past weeks. But in retrospect, all your families found joy in what God inspired you to do. Today is the Feast of the Holy Family. I think all of us are tempted to think that we can create our own Holy Family, but unfortunately we can't. Only God can provide the grace for our families to be distinct for Him, to be holy. Still, we have to do everything in our power to allow God's grace to flow into our homes. That's where today's first two readings are aiming us. Mothers and fathers are to be respected by their children. Husbands and wives are to respect each other. And parents cannot allow their children to speak to them disrespectfully, not for the parents' sake, but for the good of the children. Respect isn't a normal thing for human beings. Respect, like gratitude, has to be taught by parents and learned by the children. I'm sure yesterday morning you asked your kids once or twice when they received their gifts, what do you say to the person giving the gift? Unfortunately, I've also met adults who take the generosity of others for granted. Maybe they just weren't taught to say thank you when they were children. Now, in the same way as above, what I just said, parents need to teach their children respect. If children don't learn how to respect their parents, how are they going to learn to respect anyone in authority as they grow older? How are children going to learn respect if they don't witness the respect that their moms and dads have for each other? Through treating each other with respect in marriage, husbands and wives are building the foundation upon which a holy home can be built, a place where a holy family can live. And a holy family has to provide opportunities for the children to develop the relationship with God. I'm sure everybody here says it's a blessing before they eat. This might seem like an ordinary practice, but it's not. It's kind of extraordinary. Blessings before the meals opens our children to recognize that all good things come from God. And how about at bedtime? Bedtime prayers are also very important. Through these prayers, the children develop their relationship with God. They learn how to talk to God, to pray for their families and for all who need their prayers. Then when the children get to be about 6 or 7, the parents might think about adding a little simple act of contrition into the bedtime prayers to help the kids learn to take responsibility for their actions as they ask forgiveness for anything they have done wrong during the day. And if the child can't think of anything wrong they did, I bet mom or dad could come up with a suggestion. Sometimes people look at the Feast of the Holy Family and say, well, this is unrealistic. How can we possibly be parents as good as Mary and Joseph? Well, let's take a look at today's gospel, because even the best of parents make mistakes. Joseph and Mary left their kid in Jerusalem, violating one of my wife Wendy's rules. You've got to go home with as many kids as you brought, and they only had one. And Jesus also sort of scolded them when he asked them why they didn't start looking for him first in the temple at his father's house. Now, sometimes a little one's going to complain, you're the meanest mom or dad in the world. And usually that's a good sign that mom and dad are more concerned with caring for their child than preserving the child's affection by letting the child do something that could be harmful. Sometimes I hear from kids who complain about something their mom or dad did or said. I try to respond with, but are your mom and dad trying their best? If you want your parents to realize what you're trying your best in things you do, why don't you respect them for trying their hardest? Kind of an example to the child, maybe you're having problems with math, you've done all your homework, done your extra credit, and even worked with some of the better math students in the class to understand your lesson, but you still had a bad grade, and you still want your parents to realize that you were really trying. Well, it's the same thing for the parents. You have to realize, the child, you have to realize that your mom and dad have your best interests in mind more so than that they succeed at being a perfect parent. The gospel says he went down with them and came to Nazareth and was obedient to them. And Jesus advanced in wisdom and age and favor before God and man. When parents bring their babies in for baptism, the parents take upon themselves the huge responsibility of raising their child for God. This is what you do, Mom and Dad. You're in the business of raising children for God. To do this, your home must be a little church or a domestic church. For this to happen, your family must be holy. But remember, you by yourselves can't create a holy family. Only God can. So find ways, probably some new ways, to open your family to the grace of God. Today we pray that all of our families might also be holy families.